What is up, my lovely humans? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. We make videos about life and finding purpose and dealing with the wackiness of our current world. If you are returning, I am super happy to see you again. Welcome back, and thank you for coming back to listen to me ramble on the internet. As you can see from the video title today, I have started going to therapy, and I bet there's a bunch of you being like, girl, it was time. And it was time. Today's video isn't going to be about like what I'm doing in therapy or anything like that. What I want to talk about is why I waited so long and what motivated me to go. For a really long time, I was like very resistant to the idea of therapy. One, because like I'm a naturally very closed off person, which is a thing that I'm addressing. And I don't like talking about my feelings. Like this is fine, this kind of stuff, but like my nitty gritty, like day to day, like I'm feeling sad, would rather like go to the dentist, to be honest. So I don't talk about that with a lot of people in my life. There's times when I will be talking to friends and I'll be like referencing a life event and they're like, what? Because I never told anyone about it and I just internalized it and let it fester. So I would like to correct that because as I'm going to talk about in my video next week, I tend to push people away. I tend to preemptively cut myself off from people, and that's something that I really wanted to work on. And so for me, I was hesitant to go to therapy and to have to like delve into that nitty gritty stuff. But I have been struggling a bit. I made a video a couple months ago about that, and it's continued. It's the spicy sad's getting me again, which is totally normal, and it happens to all of us. So I decided to do something about it because the state I was in could not continue. And that led me to decide to open up to someone and get some help, which is a good thing, which I resisted violently for a very long time. So I think for me, the desire to not share was more of a self-protection thing than anything else, based on like stuff that's happened in my past. I just, have a hard time with people and trusting people, and I don't want to be that person. I think too another part of it is we always have these ideas of like the kind of people that are like seeing therapists and psychiatrists, and I like to think of myself as a strong person. I tend to, get stuff done and make sure that my life is in order and take care of the stuff that I need to take care of, and I've always just done that, and I didn't think that I needed therapy. And I've realized as like my work here on this channel has grown and I've been being more and more reflective that so much of what I have been doing is avoiding stuff. I don't want to deal with my feelings, so I will clean my house and I do all this stuff and I seem very on the surface like I have it together, like I know what I'm doing. I don't. And if you see my TikTok, you know I'm unhinged. But I found a lot of the stuff that I was doing was more of a coping mechanism than things that I wanted to be doing. And my motivations for things and completing tasks was more so to not be hassled for not doing them. And this really came to a head for me at Christmas time. I didn't want to put my Christmas tree out. December was rough for me and I wasn't feeling it. I didn't want to put up a tree. I didn't want to do all this stuff. And I found myself in a weird spot because I'm always a big advocate for not doing the stuff you don't want to do and all that. And I literally remember decorating my house thinking, well, if I don't do it, it's going to be more of a hassle than just dealing with having the tree up. Because I don't want to like have the questions from my family and friends because I normally am like a big Christmas person. And I just wasn't feeling it this year. And that's fine, you don't have to be. But yeah, that was a moment that I really sort of need to reevaluate what was going on. And came to the conclusion that some stuff needed to change, right? So that was another motivation to go and talk to someone because I don't want to go through life ticking boxes. I don't want to go through my life doing stuff because I'm supposed to, or because I feel like I have to. I've made many videos about that. You can find them here on the channel, but I want to be doing things with intention. I want to be doing things that are meaningful to me. And I made myself a promise that next year if I don't want to put on my Christmas tree, I'm not going to, because I don't have to if I don't want to, and I can just lay that up beforehand. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to. But this year I felt very pressured to like keep up this pretense of like doing okay. And then I just sat around with this tree up for like 3.5 weeks and I was pissed about it. So that was another part of it. So went on a bit of a tangent there. But yeah, we always have this idea of the kind of people that go to therapy and that I don't need it and I don't need to talk to someone. But I think it's important for someone to have someone to talk to, right? Like our world is wacky times right now, right? We have access to an insane amount of information that I genuinely feel like our brains are not meant to process. everything is a bit doom and gloom, and there's a little bit of jazz hands like, look over here, and then the crazy stuff's happening over here, and you don't really know where to focus your attention, and we all have our own personal lives, and eggs are $12, and life feels a little bit hectic right now, and especially for people my age, I know this is the case a lot of times where we're feeling very overwhelmed. And I think that relying on each other is good, right? Having community and having people you can trust to talk to and all of those things are super important. But I also think it's important to realize that people around you are struggling in the same ways and they do not have the toolbox to appropriately help you. And while venting to your friends can feel really good, and for all of you involved, we may just be adding to each other's psychological burden. And not that you can't talk to your friends, I think though that it's important to talk to a professional, someone who is equipped to deal with what you're saying, someone who can offer you good strategies. Because if you came to me with your problems, I'm going to tell you to drink tequila about it. And there's nothing wrong with that on occasion, but perhaps like some better coping skills and creating structures for you to deal with more complicated emotions and to set yourself up for long-term success is important. And I think professionals can do that for you. So that was part of it, right? I think I want to be able to show up for myself in a meaningful way, show up for my friends in a meaningful way, and I think it's important that we recognize that if you are struggling right now, it's not a personal failing. Like the world is pretty crazy, and not that it wasn't crazy in other, people's lives years and years ago too. I just think that we are all very connected now in a way that people weren't before, and we're like seeing horrifying atrocities on our phones that contain all of human knowledge that 99% of us fall asleep clutching. Probably not great. So I think that it's a little bit of a different thing that we're dealing with now. And it's okay to not be okay right now because the world is very stressful. And you need to reach out and get help if you need help. And I had to come to terms with that. It took me a very long time. I was very resistant to it. And it's been interesting so far. Now, I don't think that this is going to magically solve any of my problems. I don't think that some of the things I've struggled with over the years, that I've struggled with through most of my adult life, are going to suddenly disappear. It's just recently it's been not good, and so I wanted to find some ways to deal with that were more constructive than sitting in my apartment, which is what I do anyways. But it's been very interesting because part of me is resistant to it still. And I remember going through my first session and she's giving me all these tips and she's like, well, do you do yoga? Do you do this? And I was like, I do yoga almost every single day. I journal. I take my little hot girl walks. I go to the gym. I eat relatively well. Like, I do all the stuff I'm supposed to do. I consume an ungodly amount of caffeine. I probably drink a little bit too much, but like, c'est la vie. But I have all these coping skills that are the ones you're supposed to, right? Drink enough water, go outside, I'm not a plant. So part of me is still a bit hesitant, but I promised myself that I would give it a solid effort and I would commit to X number of sessions and then go from there. And that's helpful. Like, you don't have to go into it thinking, I'm going to go do this forever. You can go into it and saying, I'm going to go for 6 sessions and see what happens and go from there. And you might go to one session and be like, no thank you, and that's fine. Just try it out. If you think it's something that you might find helpful, I would recommend it. It's just been a weird time, and I am an adult, and I can recognize when I'm not doing well and when I no longer have the skills to deal with it. It doesn't mean that I'm failing. It doesn't mean that I'm less capable than I was before. It just means that I have recognized that I need help. I need someone to talk to who knows what they're talking about, because I certainly don't, clearly. But yeah, I didn't really have a script for this video. I kind of just sat down and shot it. I mean, I don't script out most of my videos, but this was a little bit off the cuff, so I hope you enjoyed it. All right, my loves, that is what I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I appreciate all of you. If you liked this video, please like it. If you want to see more of my stuff, please subscribe. I do have a ton of videos on this channel talking about life and different stuff. I might not have a video up next week. I'm going to Fan Expo and I'm cosplaying as a video game character because I have a hyperfixation and it is Call of Duty. Yeah, I am so grateful you're here. And let me know in the comments what you think. Do you go to therapy? Do you think therapy is nonsense? Are you happy I'm finally going? Hey-oh. Yeah, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for reaching out. I've been getting a ton of engagement with my recent videos and I really love it. I try and get back to you, but I do have like a full-time big girl job and hobbies that are not YouTube. So thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next one.